And we are live, checking in. Good morning, good morning. It's 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, your morning life coach, making sure you're getting up and you're doing what is needed to make sure that we're moving towards the things that we really want to do and accomplish. Your morning life coach for the self employed. Specifically, I'm looking for real estate agents. If you know real estate agents who are trying to take themselves and their businesses to the next level, that's who I have been finding by far the most success with. So please, if you know any real estate agents who are looking to really rock the rest of the year, the next quarter, really improve their focus, their ability to stay on that one task, the tasks that actually matter, having the energy to show up for their clients and to be present for the people they care most about in life. And additionally, just having a bunch of fun playing trial and error, going through good morning, good morning. This the trial and error of just figuring out what works for you. And again, that's why I'm such a big proponent of the one-on-one style of coaching, because we can be adaptable, we can be flexible, but I have over like literally 100 exercises in the inventory now, and we're able to just sit down and gain clarity and awareness on some of those harder questions that we've asked on the show before, like, what do you actually want out of this? Like, what is the result, the end goal? Where are we going? And by being able to answer this, then we can help create a schedule to help simply take more action towards the things we know we should be doing. But sometimes you got to address some of those limiting beliefs on the front end, or some of those obstacles that you think could get in the way on the front end. Because what is the old adage? To make things better, to be better, the separation is in the preparation. And I've been learning that more than ever with this show and doing the live show, because I have I've just, it's not super easy getting up pretty early and having the ammunition to come and bring value. So, laying the details out the night before have been pretty massive in being able to stay consistent. We're at the 7 week mark. Day 35, we've been only doing the weekdays, but 7 weeks are officially done with doing this show. And my point being isn't because, it's like, oh, yeah, sick, 35 days. Well, that's nearly 2 months. And to bottom line it, it's going to go by quick. So if you're still laying in bed and you've been thinking about doing some type of marketing campaign, some type of way to help touch, reach, and impact people, and you want to do some type of streak, you've heard that streaks and doing things consistently and counting days and this and that can help be more attractive for people. Why not start day one today? If you have a real good reason, would love to hear it. It's probably bullshit. It's probably a story, but it could be. Everyone's situation's different. It's as long as we're being brutally honest with the things that we are starting versus the things we're not, then we'll be able to be at peace for what it is we need to set up. Because if you go into anything lying to yourself, you're just not going to know where you're really at. And the exercises, the tactics that you'd say use with a coach, they're only as good as what you can present and have available in a lot of situations. I've just had that happen with not only myself when working with somebody, was really embarrassed about how poorly I was doing and wasn't completely honest. And then when it came to strategies and tactics, ended up biting me in the ass a couple years back because I wasn't upfront and honest about my situation, what I could and couldn't do. And there's only one person who pays the price for that. That's us. That's you. That's me. So just when it comes to today's activities, there's a few options. And really what we want to be doing is seeing what option works for us. So action usually can only happen after you've made a decision. In today's episode, a lot of people struggle with decision making. Decision making can be very tough, especially the frequency of how often we're making a decision. So it's funny. Good decision makers make decisions less often. Does that make much sense? So, and how do you combat this? What does it mean for good decision makers to make decisions less often? They just prepare ahead of time what it is that the strategy, the tactics that they want to implement. We know what we're going to do, and then we kind of surrender to a lot of the things that we can't control because we can't control them, and then go take action and then measure it and see if it worked, see if it didn't work, and see if there's something different we need to do next time. It sounds so simple because it is, but it's hard at the same time. Like to get yourself to do that. But however, it can save on, we're really big on having the focus to really actually give enough depth. Think about your absolute best work when you were locked in the zone, when you had no distractions. You're like, no, I'm getting this done. I'm all into it. You're not thinking about the day of the week, the time. You're completely locked into it. Maximum depth. This allows you to get by far the most what it is that you're wanting to get out of that task. You're doing it at the highest level, but making that decision beforehand in the planning and deciding where you want to go with it. Well, let's go ahead and jump to the whiteboard. So whiteboard, when it comes to setting a schedule and figuring out the tasks that it is that we want and need to get done for the day, for the week, there's a couple options, thankfully. Number one, you've probably heard of it. It's called time blocking. So time blocking, this would be one of your tasks that you want to designate a time to. You can set some type of timer. You can use a timer on your cell phone. For some of my time blocking tasks, I use a chess clock, and then you can just kind of start when you're on activity, stop when you're off activity. So with cold calling, which we'll talk about a little bit later, whenever I'm actually on a conversation, I click go, and when I'm not, I get off, and then I just make sure I'm talking to people for at least an hour a day. Doesn't sound totally insane because it's not. However, just seeing the time of it, and it usually takes like 2 hours to actually get that done. You'd be surprised with how little actual talking or selling or listening, more importantly, listening to the person's problems, that you're actually getting done versus dialing on the phone, looking up who to contact, what to say. And that just shows the importance of the preparation of things, because when you can cut that out, you can nearly double your productivity and efficiency with, say, for example, how many calls you make. But back to time blocking. Under time blocking, you would say, okay, from 8 to 10 p.m., from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm going to read. No ifs, ands, or buts. I get my cell phone away from me. I'm going to read. Or you block into say if you're a real estate agent, I'm going to look at the market and look at the properties that have recently been sold and the ones that are on the market to have better understanding of the market and be better for my clients and see when good opportunities come up. You can put that in from 3 to 5 p.m. Say if that's how kind of your brain works and you like that, then kind of blocking off and being really strict on the times is an option. Next, we have daily objective. Daily objective. So, what is the guy who wrote? He wrote the book, Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I think his name's Mark Manson. And he's a big proponent of you have like one big objective for the day. And I think this is honestly the most productive out of all of them. So I honestly think the daily objective is I think it's the best out of all of them. And really what it is you're picking one thing that you're going to do a major deep dive on, and you literally do not stop until it is done. And most people hear them like, well, I'm not doing that. I can't do that. And as soon as they say they can't, totally right. You can't then. Can't get it done. But I've done it. Many of my clients do it. And you're picking one thing to work on like all day. And if you can really sit down and do this, and I'm sure we've all done this at some point. We procrastinated, and then we literally had no choice. We either had shit due at midnight, or we had a closing the next day, and we just absolutely crushed it all in one day and kept going. Well, when the pressure's on your back and the water's boiling a little bit, then that can bring in a lot of negative emotion, anxiety, and things along those lines, making the experience a lot less pleasurable. Well, if we can take the daily objective approach, such as writing, I do this Friday. So on like writing, content creation, ideas for the show, getting down, reflecting on my notes, getting all that down, just writing in the book, just writing until all of it is done for the week that I'm comfortable with. This part that we talked about going in depth, when you're switching from one thing to another throughout the day, it's just, you have to completely reset, restart, and it takes most people like 20, 30 minutes without their phones, and even in the room. So if you have your phone in your room and you're trying to write a book, you're probably toast. Some of us may be able to do it. I personally can't. I get too distracted. Either or, being able to dive into that at a deeper level and to make it go so much quicker. Think about things that you've done around the house, things you've done for other people, in your business, for your person. When you weren't distracted and you were fully engaged in it and you were like, okay, I'm dedicating this day to it. Did it work? Did you get a lot done? And if you're not measuring it or trying to, what we talked about with reflection that a lot of decision makers go through and do on a regular basis, then we'll have no idea what's working, what's not working, and even what to do next. And the unknown can be very scary, and it can make us feel like we're out of control. So doing it for something like writing, or I personally don't like cold calling, so I do this, a hybrid. Personally, I do more of a hybrid. I'll do the cold calling with a time block. I'll do the cold calling part with the time block and just keep track of how many people I'm actually contacting and having a number on that. And then for the writing, I'll just do that for like a daily objective. Like that is the main daily objective. I do daily objectives for my rentals. Like all of my payments and all of my expenses and all that are on automatic pay on the 10th of each month. So the 9th, I just do budgeting for real estate. I look over all my rental properties. I'm looking at expenses. I'm looking at the managers. I'm following up with the managers, with the government associations to make sure nothing's wrong with payment, nothing's wrong with paperwork, all that good Gucci shit. So doing that daily objective, it works really well for a few things for me, but not all of them, such as like we were talking about the cold calling. So kind of doing a hybrid, a mix of it. A mix of setting up the time blocking and then also just making sure I know exactly what it is I want or need to accomplish for the day to make sure it is a good one. So being able to make these decisions on the front end, because if you have to continuously ask yourself, what do I do next? Do I want to do this? Chances are your answers will be, if you're tired or if you're feeling some bad emotions, you're probably going to say, fuck that. I'm exhausted. I don't know what to do. But just having a list down in your journal of just a list of stuff to do for the next day. If you can sit down the night before and lay out, what are the top 3 things I want to get done today? So maybe we can put that in as a journal exercise in the comments. What are the top 3 things we will get done today? Woo! What are the top 3 things we will get done today? So if you know that going in, and if you get that done first in the morning life coach, I'm a big momentum person, energy person. So if you can get up and you can smash that one objective or get the list of just the 3 things you need to get done to have a great day, the momentum tends to carry people more than the thought of, I have plenty of time to do it later. I have time to do it later. You're burnt toast, son. You're burnt toast. If you keep telling me tomorrow, you're burnt toast. That stuff falls short every time. There's always something that comes up. Life is life. So making the decision that no more. Today is the day I'm going to start that habit. I'm going to start writing out what my vision is for the future. I'm going to make sure I know my purpose behind that. I'm going to be very clear on my goals and my action plan. I'm going to forgive myself. Like yesterday we were talking about values, and damn it, we can forgive ourselves just a little bit for whether we weren't Superman yesterday or we're not feeling like freaking Superman right now. That's okay. Don't be scared to forgive yourself for where you're at currently right now, because you are at currently where you are right now. And maybe you just need to go over some joys in your life. Maybe you just need to have a little gratitude for the things that are around you. The fact you have the ability to breathe, move, walk, hear, taste, smell, like all these amazing luxuries of life. But in the distraction traps, such as scrolling too much on our phones or along those lines, it can be a little distracting. Let's improve our decision making by having a plan. let's improve our decision making by taking on one of these models. These, if you really want to just, man, his name's Stephen Graham. He's a big YouTuber, big in the real estate space as well. Very cool, calm cat, just very straightforward, blunt. That's more my style, more my speed. And he's like, yeah, the road to success is writing out a to-do list the night before, and then the next day you do it until it's done. What? Yes, it turns out you just figure out what it is you want to do. You do it. You probably do it shitty, and then you fix it, and then you do it good. And then with Jim Collins, you're going from good to great. With I don't have that other book by me. So Good They Can't Ignore You. A few books I'm reading right now. You just get better at stuff. So forgiving ourselves for not being really great at making decisions, because in a lot of ways we've never really had to. Whether our parents made all of our decisions, whether the schools that we went through made all of our decisions, the sports teams and the coaches made all of our decisions. I get why we're not very good at it. However, that doesn't change that we are responsible for it and that we have a huge opportunity that if we can be the ones who make the decisions. Everybody loves the person who can do that. So if we can be that person, if we can show up in that way, in that light, and we can lay it out what it is that we really want to do, how are we going to get it done? How are we going to go about it? And have some damn fun with it. Play around with it. How can you have some fun this week? Getting it on, getting it going. And if you're just now tuning in, it's the morning. We're rolling. We're improving decision making. We're putting a plan in place. And if you need any help with this plan, specifically, please, if you know real estate agents, direct them to me, baby. We are laying it out, completely focusing on the transformation more than anything. Screw all that other crap. We don't even care about it. We just want to make you the best version of you, or at least see what that looks like. Push the meter a little bit. Let's be curious like kids. Let's have some fun. Let's be playful like children. But when it comes to decisions, let's be adults. Let's make our decisions. Let's know that willpower is total trash. We need a plan in place. You can't just scream yes until you get shit done. Unfortunately, I've listened to so many Tony Robbins tapes and I've yelled yes. I've been that psychopath. I'm sure you'd believe that. However, it doesn't really work. The plan and having support and accountability does, though. I can vouch for that. If it's not even me looking for some type of coach, if you think I'm more your speed and you can benefit from me, if you know a real estate agent, please direct them over to talktotanner.com, or you can always message me, leave comments, shows, share this video with friends, give it a like. It really helps with the promotion of the show because we're on week 7, dog. We're up here. I got up even earlier this morning. Around 4 o'clock in the morning, baby. We're doing it. We built the habit. We're crushing it. And we're going to continue to crush it. And we're going to continue to, so the people who want to ride, people who want to feel fulfilled and get that focus up so you're present for the people you love, for the clients you want to give value to, have the energy to be able to support that, because it takes a lot of energy to be able to stay focused like that. And then increase my productivity by having a real plan in place. You can always go over to talktotanner.com, sign up for a free coaching session, and we're all caught up. It's before 5:30, and we've already kind of covered the show agenda. I'm looking at ways We'll leave it at that. figuring out that time blocking, the daily objective, or maybe you're some hybrid in between. Either or, figuring out our speed, our pace, what we work with, what we jive with to make sure we're getting shit done. We're moving the meter. And if you're still sleeping, if you're still laying in bed, it is time to get up. This is your morning call from your morning life coach. Again, if you know any real estate agents, don't be scared to connect us. Really appreciate it. All the love and support. This is our free outlet to help give it back to people and make an impact. And I'll be back here tomorrow morning, bright and early, 5 a.m. Thursday, April 28th, going into officially week 8, week 7. It's flying by. Time flies by, man. It flies by so fast. So you might as well do some shit you're proud of. And if you need help mustering up them, here to help. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow morning. Have an amazing day. Make sure we're getting stuff done, knowing the top 3 things we want to get done today. And keep it rolling. Thanks, guys. Until next time.